Okay, doing a freeze frame here. First step is for you to watch your video and decide where it is you want to do the freeze frame, and then go find it. So in mine, I'm going to be watching my action video here, and I'm going to be looking to find the first position here where I set up. And I'm going to be watching for that location as I play it here. Okay, so I started juggling and that's a little too far. So let's take our slider here. Let's zoom way, 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 way in. And now once we do this, we can use our scrubber here and we can just move this around just right. Now, in my explanation, I talk about looking at my hands and my eyes. So here I'm still looking down. I want to find a spot where I'm looking up. And this looks pretty good to me. Now to get a nice freeze frame out of this, I don't want to have a freeze frame of myself talking in the corner. So remember we locked photos before so that we wouldn't resize them. You can also hide them with the eyeball here. So I'm going to turn off the eyeball on my explanation. And now I'm going to create a freeze out of this. The best thing to do here, because what we're going to do is we're going to freeze this and then hold on to the location of this. So I need to move everything after this point further on in the video. So we're going to make a razor tool cut here, right on the location of the cursor. Quickly back to pointer mode so I don't screw something else up. And now let's make a freeze frame of this. And we're going to do that with the export frame button, which is this camera icon on the playback window. Now it'll come up and it'll ask you to give this a name. I'm going to call this my first position for juggling. And in your format, change it to ping. Turn on import into project. And your path here, make sure this is saving into your OneDrive. So mine is not in there, so I'm going to go to Browse. And now let's go into OneDrive. And mine goes in Courses. There we go. Here's my juggling demo. And click OK. Now make sure that import into project, we're going to look for it down in the project panel in the bottom left. So mine's currently on effects. So let's use the arrows here. I want to go to my how-to project. And now here's my first position icon. If I have a look at it, notice how I've got a nice clean picture of it here, which is good. Now let's make some room for this to fit in here. So just going to zoom out a bit and shove this over. Now I can insert this picture in between. So let's just have a quick watch of this at this point. So what we've done so far is I've got the first part of my video. So here I am, I clap, I'm moving around. Oh, I'm frozen, I can talk about it. Look at my hands, look at my eyes. And now it keeps rolling. Okay. Now your next step of this is to turn on your video for the explanation, and you're going to want to listen to it and find where it is that you start talking about that position. So play from the beginning. There it is. So what I'm going to do is I found where I talk about it. Now I'm going to take these three and line it up so that the freeze happens right here. So I'm selecting all of this action video stuff and now slide it over to line up with the cursor. And now when it plays, it's going to be frozen. And of course you can adjust the length of that by taking the rest of your action and use the bracket to make it longer. And now let's add some embellishment to this. So I can go to new legacy title, and I'm going to call this first position highlights. And now we've used text box. We've got a bunch of shape tools here. So I talk about my hands. So I'm going to try a circle around the hands. If you hold down the shift key on your keyboard, it'll make a perfect circle. And now if you don't want it totally solid, turn off fill, but turn on a stroke. I'm going to turn on an outer stroke here. And you can decide on your color. So you could go blue, maybe lighter. And there's some options here. You can have gradients. So it could be blue on one side and maybe a nice green on the other. And you can have it going around, or 4 colors in the corners. This is actually a pretty cool effect. Maybe some orange on the other side. Go ahead and play with these. Go find something that you like. You can always resize by going back to pointer mode. And then don't forget, once you close this down, now you've got a new thing in your project. Add it on top of the action. So in one of your empty tracks here, it's got to be on top of the action. So here I am, I'm putting it in V2, and now I can see I pick up the juggling balls, I freeze, and here's my embellishment.